morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Condon. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Back from the weekend here in the market, pulling back just slightly down a couple of points here early. Apple looking a bit weak here again, trading under the key 530 level now at 528.50. Barron's reveals their top picks for 2013. We'll look at those stocks. Joel, let's start with the overall market here. What's your thoughts? I mean, it's holding up pretty well considering how weak Apple has been over the last couple of days.
Well, going way back to Friday, seems like days ago, we got the initial boost off the unemployment number, got to 14.22 and a quarter during the Globex session. Yeah. We started getting all bullish and starting to think it was going to 14.30, 14.31. Sellers came in and took us down, basically had a little bit over a 10-point range on Friday. I think you just got to keep an eye on the two lows from Thursday and Friday, 14.0850, 14.04 is major support, and major resistance, 14.22 and a quarter was Friday's high, and then going way back to last Monday's high at 14.24. So we're developing a range here, getting ready to break out for a year-end rally or year-end debacle.
Yeah, we're holding up pretty good, though. I still think, as long as we stay above 1,400, it's hard to get bearish here. I know over the last few days here we've drifted down to that area, but we've continued to hold. We breached it early last week down at 1396, but as long as we stay above that whole 1390, 1400 area, I think you still got to remain bullish here, despite the weakness in Apple, because Apple obviously has had a terrible few days here. Weak again this morning. It's down almost 5 points here again this morning. No news. It's just technical. Everybody keeps emailing me, what's the news on Apple? Why is it so weak? I mean, everybody's just long the thing, and the market does try to punish the maximum amount of participants, and that's the whole problem. Sentiment here is turning on it. You have so many people that are long this stock, and when they're looking to book gains and looking to get out, they sell Apple. And that's what's happening here. And I don't know, man. I almost got this funny feeling the stock's going to try to take out those lows that we set there a few weeks ago down that 505 area. It's just kind of hanging out down here too long now. It's looking weak to me, Joel.
Very few reference points here for Apple. You had 530, which was Friday's low, and we've sliced through that in the pre-market. You got 518.63, which was the low on Thursday. You hit that, and then you got a big rebound. Yep. And then you're looking at 505.75, Dennis. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's no points. Support. You got those two levels. You got to use those levels. If you're short, you got to cover. You got to at least make a cover there, because Lord knows it could dip down to 514 and be back at 532 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So use your levels. Use the 518.63 Thursday's low as a place. If you're trying to go long, and we've talked about this before, and you like that 518.63 level, let it crush through it. If it comes back up through it, you buy it on a buy stop. At least you're buying it with some momentum. It's just nearly impossible just to stick limit orders on this thing when it's going down or conversely going up, thinking, hey, I'm picking a bottom. It's impossible to do.
Yeah, one who picks bottoms gets sticky fingers there, right, Joel? Your old saying there. Conrad used to say that. But it's so true. You're trying to pick the bottoms here, you get hurt. Wait till it starts to move up. Wait till the momentum's on your side. I mean, just since we've started the show here, it's drifting 5 minutes ago. It was at 5:30. It's down now to 3 points here now. I personally think it's going to take out that 518 today. But if you're trying to buy it and picking bottoms, 518, you're right. It might go to 513, it might go to 510. Hell, it might just keep going down through 500. It's impossible to tell. Wait till the stock starts to move back up before you start buying it, because when these things get the momentum going down, you know how quickly they can continue to sell off. So even though that's a good number, the 518, the 505 obviously is a great number. Just randomly sticking buy orders out there, you never know. And not saying like it's so hard to predict. This thing could just turn around on a dime here, could get to 525 today and then start popping up through 533. If it got through that close of 533 and a quarter now, then I might get a bit bullish for today. So there's another reference point for you
Yep.
longs too. If it can get up above 533 and a quarter, then maybe you can play it from the long side. But just randomly picking a bottom here of 527.30, I think is a trade that loses money. So
A noted analyst cut his price target from 900 to 800.
Jeffrey's
So what the hell? Why does that guy have a job?
thanks for that. Oh, I'm going to go
Yeah,
900 to 800.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you going to do? You're going to move your stop from 505.75 to
Useless information.
404.75, and then the fact that CNBC repeats it is ridiculous. But anyway,
well, we'll give them some props. They were making fun of them too on CNBC a little bit too. So
yeah, right.
McDonald's.
Right,
Let's move on to.
Besides Apple.
Yeah, McDonald's, actually good news for McDonald's shareholders here today. They reported same-store sales blew the numbers away. 2.4% same-store sales were up in November. They were expecting them to be down 0.1%, so 2.5% better. Stock is up over $2.50 here this morning. What a move for Mickey D's. This is a great move.
Yeah, I was just, when I heard that news came out, I mean, I think I eat McDonald's maybe once, twice a year if I'm like on the road trip with the family and there's like absolutely nowhere to eat. I don't know what all of a sudden inspires people to go eat more McDonald's, and have this kind of jump in the same store sales.
It's cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. These stocks are baffling me. Now you're getting into this whole gap area between 90 and a quarter going up to 92.61. So who the heck knows where it's going to go there. 240 is a big move for Mickey D's in the pre-market. You do have this reference point here of the 90 and a quarter high. If you're trying to play it from the long side, if it slipped below 90 and a quarter, I think I'd have to look at perhaps exiting this trade.
So 90 and a quarter would be your stop out if you were trying to buy it up here. Like you said, there's all air here. We had this gap down day back in October all the way up to 92.61. So very difficult to trade it in here. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere from a reference point perspective. I mean, the level here I'm looking at, and it's not going to get there today, but if it continued to drift higher, is at $94. There's a double top up there. So this is one I'm sitting on my hands probably today. But, looking here, and if we get some Santa Claus rally, continues to rally up, I think the $94 is a great area of resistance up there. Before that, you got a couple, obviously that low on the one day from the gap down day, 92.61 from the day before. But the 94 area is really where your resistance is. And maybe, in the 90 and a quarter is a good area to think about if, obviously, like Joel says, if it starts to roll over again.
Yeah, I mean, you got it up on 80,000 shares here. The stock trades between, 5 and 10 million a day. Yeah. So someone's obviously taking advantage of the illiquidity here in the pre-market to boost the stock up. Boy, I'll tell you, anybody that's bought this thing over the last couple weeks, this is a golden opportunity to probably take some profits.
Other stocks in the news, AIG is trading down a bit here this morning. They are selling their plain leasing unit, 80% of it, to some Chinese group for $4 billion. So they're raising cash over at AIG, I guess, for better things, saying they're going to focus obviously more on insurance. 33.75 is where it's trading at this morning. I'm going to draw a little trend there for you, Joel, because the stock is starting to trend higher here slowly, and obviously the bottom of that trend line, it's telling me, is around 33.25, or actually 33.50. So start again below 33.50, that trend line starts to break. But I guess you can remain bullish the stock until it starts to break below there.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, selling an asset and getting cash for it is not a bad thing.
No.
Got to keep an eye on 33.76. That was Friday's low, just kind of trading around that level in the pre-market. Got a little bit below it. I don't think I'd get real bearish to stock until it took out to 33.75. If, in fact, it does, you've got monster support here developing at the $33 level. You had 4 out of 5 lows between 32.92 and 33.13. So someone's targeting that $33 level as major support.
Barron's coming out with their picks for 2013. Their picks for 2012 were pretty good, besides Facebook, I think. But anyways, Apple's at the top of their picks here. We've already talked about Apple. But an interesting one on here, Barnes & Noble, BKS is one of their picks here. I don't know about this one. It's trading up here just 25 or 40 cents at 15.15 right now, just on this Barron's report. 15.02 is the best bid right now. What do you think of this Barnes and Noble pick?
Oh,
Interesting.
well, yeah, I mean, they're what they're trying to say is that the value of all the stores and the franchises probably equals the value of the stock right now. So whatever they're getting from their online division or the Nook, it's just gonna, kind of, icing on the
Yeah,
cake. Yeah. Phew, I'll tell you, this stock. Remember when that big news came out on the Microsoft investment and
I
thing
know.
popped to 25? I mean,
It's
and going on the
crazy.
way Microsoft's last few investments have been and the way they've come out in the market, just have to look at this technically. If I was owning the stock, I'd keep an eye on this $14 level. You had some lows there last
Yeah, you
week.
don't want it to cut through there.
Yeah. So if it doesn't hold 14, I'm exiting. Coming up, I mean, it's up on very, very little volume here in
800
the
shares.
pre-market. Yeah, so I'd keep an eye on that. The major level on the upside is that double top you have at 1707 to 1710. So the stock could trade between 14 and 17 for, another couple of weeks before it makes a big move.
BlackRock's another one on the list here. Stock has actually performed pretty well here in the last 6 months since we bottomed in July down at 163. We've pretty much been straight up here. Stock hasn't traded here this morning, but 194.76 is where it closed. Has been drifting higher for the last 3 days here. I'm looking at this reference point up here at 199.35 and around the whole 200 big psychological
Yep.
level as probably some major resistance up there.
Yeah, not sure if we'll quite get that today, but looking at the daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want to look at, this thing has had a nice uptrend. I think really no major resistance up here until the $2 level, as you mentioned. Not really much going on in the pre-market. Yesterday's range was pretty tight, so if you break below 193.31, you might have a $2 drop here down to the mid 191s.
JP Morgan's another one of their big picks on there, and this stock has been breaking out. It's trading down this morning. Obviously, Barron's not influencing JP Morgan here. Some of your European banks are down, bringing down most of your financials here just a bit this morning. Stock has broken out, though, man. It had a great Friday, JP Morgan, starting to look pretty decent on the charts. What's your take on Barron's pick and JP Morgan?
Yeah, we had been really looking at that 41.50 level,
Broke out above
41.49.
it.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, you close at 41.47 on Thursday, and then you gap
Boom.
up, and
Yep.
they never give you, you could stick your bids at 41.55 to get to fill the gap all day long, and they said, see you later. So long as this stock holds 41.50, you got to play it to the upside.
Yep.
I see a couple tops lurking up there around the $43 level. You had a high at 42.90 on the 1st of November, and then a high at 43.07 on the 2nd of November. So 43 is your next major resistance point, but we'll have to cut through Friday's high first at 42.57 before we can get there.
Not going to be able to do a technical on all of them, but some of the other ones that they picked
Okay.
were General Dynamics, Viacom, Marathon Oil, and Western Digital were also Barron's picks. So that's your Barron's portfolio for 2013. Obviously, we'll have to see how they do towards the end of next year. Other stocks we have moving. IN is getting bought by Honeywell for $10 a share. I mean, there's not much to say about that one. That's a cash deal, so it's trading 9.79 right now. So I guess these Intermec shareholders here this morning are pretty happy with Honeywell purchasing them. But maybe we could do a quick technical on Honeywell just for our listeners there, because Honeywell obviously still going to be moving around.
Yep, Honeywell is starting to find some resistance here at the $62 level. It's going to be major resistance. 62 was the high on Friday. 61.99 was the high back on November 13th. So let's keep an eye on that level. Coming back on the downside, 61.35 was Friday's low. That will be support, and then you got more support down at the $61 level. But Honeywell just seems to chug along,
Let's talk about your Microsoft pick. You wrote that article. It's not looking that great here. We thought it was going to be breaking out. I had a swing trade going on. I still have the swing. The day trade I got out of and washed out of here. If it cuts below 26 or 26.20, I'm probably going to get out of the swing trade too because I do not like stocks making new 52-week lows. Obviously, there's still 20 cents to go here. You think Microsoft can hold above there and turn it around today, or is this going to be one of those trades where we probably should hit the exit button?
Defined risk, Dennis. That's what the article was about.
Yeah.
And we've defined the risk, and the risk is that's coming to fruition. I thought it was interesting that that stock, the market opened up, of course. Everything opened up and sold off, and it just seemed like someone in there, like all day, just kind of had an inkling that you're going to hear something bad about the stock. Lo and behold, Howard Lindzen comes on comes on CNBC, and they're asking him, Google, Microsoft, Apple, what would you do? And he was like, buy Google and Apple and short Microsoft. He said short Microsoft with your grandmother's money was his exact quote.
Didn't give it any love there on CNBC.
Yeah, so
a lot of people listen to Howard. Howard's got some pretty good comments sometimes.
He did. So yeah. I wrote that one down in my book to see.
He's a market mover, that Howard over at
He did. He moved it. Yeah, and especially the people that knew he was going to say something negative about Microsoft, got on it before the open. You still got to respect that 26 low. Got down, couldn't get that low on Friday. I'll stick with it, and until it takes out that 26 level, trying to stay long it.
Yeah, I mean, you've defined your trade there. Obviously, below 26.26, you're looking to get out. Obviously, I said I've cut my position in half because I'm just not in love with it here. And below 26.20, I'm probably going to wash out of it all. But, that's the way it goes. Some trades work, some trades don't. Hopefully, this one can turn around. We're still in it. Hopefully, it can turn around and come back. But below 26.20, I agree with you, Joel. I don't think you can be long. I hate being long stocks that are making new 52-week lows. So it'll probably go down to 26.19, stop me out, and then rally $5 over the course of the next 6 months. So that's how these things work. Other stocks here, ExxonMobil and Chevron. Let's do a quick technical on those because Exxon closed fairly strong on Friday. It had a pretty good day, held up fairly well, and actually closed right near the highs. I always like when stocks close on their highs. Often you can get follow through. I know we're a little bit weaker. It's going down a couple bucks, and ExxonMobil is trading down 20 cents here. But it's nice to see it close on the highs.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, someone has an opinion in this stock. But 88.69, that was the high on November 29th, and then you had a high at 58, and you had a high at 64 on Friday with the close up there. So major resistance above that. You might have a little paper to chew through at 89.09, but potential breakout there above 88.70. And Chevron kind of got a little bit ahead of it on Friday, going through that 106.69 level.
Yeah.
As long as it holds that, I mean, looks like it's going to 110.
Well, we've drawn the pennant for you there, and it has broken out to the upper end of that. So Chevron, I like the Chevron chart a lot better than the Exxon chart because Exxon is still hanging out below the resistance point, and you can't really go long the thing until it gets above there. Obviously, closing higher, I think it's got a decent shot at maybe taking out that resistance on Exxon today. But you can play from the other way too. A reference point can be used in two ways. You can short off of it, or when it actually takes it out, you can get long, off of it. So obviously, you got to wait before, or you can short it here and then use that as a reference point to cover out. But started trading 88.75, 88.80, then you probably got to think about covering those shorts. The Chevron, though, I like. It's pulled. It's obviously broken out here above the pennant here, and it looks like it could make that run here in the next couple days. It's got a couple points of air for sure. So the Chevron chart I like a bit better than the Exxon chart. Overall market thoughts here before we close the show. Obviously, we're just hanging out here. We haven't moved really since we started the show. 14.14 is where we're hanging out. Love to see us get and start marching here again. I think Apple could be weak here and hold the market down off the hop. Wouldn't surprise me, if Apple started to turn around, I think the market would really take off, though. I think that's the reason. A lot of these other stocks look pretty good. They're breaking out. Apple's kind of holding the market down because it continues to go down. It seems like 10 or 20 points every day. So if one of these days Apple actually starts to turn around here, I think the market could pop.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the pre-market trading, still holding above Friday's low, 1408.50, and early in the session we got up near Friday's high. So I think it'd be a slippery slope here before 1410 and 1420. The way that we break out from that area will be our direction for the rest of the year.
That's our show for today. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Have a great trading day.